Yeah, I'm not going to name all of the members and people who were appointed to the House of Justice, nor all the current active members on it, but just the ones that have taken a public stand in their public declaration of faith. And this is for the protection and guidance of the cause of God. So this International Baha'i Council, the second one, the True Universal House of Justice of Bahaullah, was established in the world, reestablished on January 9th of 1991. And at first it had 7 appointed members on it, plus the grandson of Abdulbaha was living in Florence, Italy at that time, and he didn't physically attend the meetings when it was set up. So these 7 members had their first meeting on March 2nd, on Sunday evening of 1991. And then the membership would change. That because it was appointed, there would be people who would be on there, and then their life would change, and they would do something else that they would have to do, and then they would be other ones would be appointed to replace them. And finally, the membership of this House of Justice grew to 12 appointed members who were mentioned as 12 apostles in the book of Revelation. And then not all of them were able to attend the meetings. And even though they were still appointed there, and the quorum at the time of 12 is 7. So they wanted to have always 7 of them in session during those days. So then they were going to name 12 substitutes, which were normally the spouses of the main person who was appointed. So if the main gate couldn't show up to the meeting, then only one person could substitute for them. The substitutes just couldn't substitute for any of the other members. They could only substitute for one of the main ones that were appointed. So 12 gates and 12 substitutes adds up to 24. And this is the prophesied meeting mentioned in the book of Revelation, where there'll be 24 elders seated on their own thrones around the throne of David. That's the executive branch of the House of Justice. And then the membership waxed and waned over the years. And as we went through the third epoch of the formative age, and after 91, we were in the 4th epoch of the formative age, from 91 to 2001, when the news of Pepe's successor was made public. Some of the appointed members, like the members of the first International Baha'i Council, were in rejection and didn't want to go along with the one who was the legal president of the council. So the membership waxed and waned. So right now, today, we're being sued in federal court again by the main Sands Guardian group in Haifa and Wilmette near Chicago, Illinois, by the NSA of the Sands Guardian group here. And the ones who are on the council who have stepped forth are myself as the president that the lawsuit's directed against. The vice president of our council is a woman, Kay Woods, the same way Millie Collins was the vice president of the first International Baha'i Council. Mason Remy stated that of all the hands of the cause of God, Millie Collins never violated the covenant. So Shoughi Effendi had named a woman to be the vice president. The first one, we have a current woman who's the vice president of the second one. And then the secretary general of the council that the believers of the other councils and communicate with in community affairs is Reg Moore. And he's also was subpoenaed in the court case along with Kay Woods. So right now we have the main 3 of us that represent the faces and human beings for the 24 elders of the IBC-UHJ. And the council right now is still in its appointed phase. These original loyal members, Kay Woods, who is with her husband, Victor Woods, who is on the House of Justice and he passed on and ascended into the Abha realm in 2017. That's a great benefit because he's working on the other side of the veil for the progress of the faith, but a personal loss for those of us on this side that miss his physical presence in the community, though he's here spiritually. So we have these main three members that are defending the House of Justice in the face of the enemies. And we don't give out our membership lists. We don't have an organized religion. We don't have numbers that number the believers. The way this works is that all the believers know who they are in the local community. And then the local communities are recognized by the national Baha'i councils, and the people in the nations where they live, they know who all the Baha'is are in their country. But the Baha'is in America have no idea who the members are in India. And the Baha'is in India don't know who all the members are of the Baha'is in Europe. And they don't know the membership of all the Baha'is in Africa, and so forth and so on around the world. And at the international level, we don't keep a list of our believers. It says in the Bible that when they took a census of the people, when David did this, that this was a sin against God. So we don't keep a census of our people. We have educated over, myself, I've taken at least 12,000 people through the Fireside series over the last 30 years, maybe about 1,000 a year. And now that would be 30,000. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. It's about 12,000 people, probably maybe 15,000, not let alone our publications, our media stuff and things like this. So we have a large support of people all around the world who follow what's going on in the Baha'i faith and follow the development. And right now we're still in the appointed phase of the House of Justice. So while the world stands in the fulfillment of the prophecies of the battle of World War III, spoken of in the book of Revelation and in the Holy Quran and the Hebrew prophets of the Old Testament, we're ready. We have the divine plan. We have what Baha'u'llah revealed to offer this as a gift, like a meal fit for a king, for all the people of the world, so they can make the one simple choice to agree that we will no longer use war for the settlement of human disputes internationally. While we have this gift to give to the world, the covenant-breaking Baha'i groups are trying to remove all our websites, stamp out our existence, bankrupt us financially, which has already happened, so it can't happen again, and then prevent our message from getting out, and therefore they're suing us in federal court to silence us, to have the websites removed and permanently deactivated from the internet. Permanently deactivated, UHJ.net from the internet. And they want, if they win in the case, they want all of my personal property, my books, my computers, my prayer books, my Baha'i writings to be turned over to them for destruction. But I don't need any of those material things. I've got the words of God, like all of our believers do, written on my heart and in my mind and in my soul. I'm not going to take my prayer books with me when you put my body in the grave. I'm just going to have my soul and its relationship with God, and nobody can take that from us. So this court case that is supposed to silence and suppress the truth, the writings say that opposition causes the truth to come out. So we're very helpful that this court case set for the 81st anniversary of World War II on December 7th of 2022 coming up in Denver, Colorado, in the federal building, will be the means somehow through some miracle of God while the war is happening to allow the crisis and the solution to become popularized so people can figure out how to implement something that's going to really work, where all human beings in our diversity can maintain our unity and have justice by coming up with some way to adhere and stick to the agreement of the covenant we're going to enter, which is simply this: we will no longer use war to settle human, international, and national disputes. So it's still in its appointed phase. And when the election happens, that's not going to be the election of a bogus House of Justice on Mount Carmel or some religious council in the Rocky Mountains of the United States. The world is going to elect the international tribunal, which will be based in some location they choose, that will then bring peace to the world. And we feel like we're on the threshold of that happening right now.